Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Basilio Network proudly brings to you, presented by our friends at Dos Equis / VIP Play. Say it loud, say it proud. It's week 7. Is it week 7 already? It is week 7 already. And ladies and gentlemen, moving right to left across your device from the top, that's Nashville Lee. You can't see him, but I can, and that's the important thing. Also, superstar of note, Will Heflin's in the house today. Kyle sends his regards. We've got C in the house. We've got Lee in the house. We've got Brian Hartman in the house. We've got Kyle sending his fit picks. And a little later on, we'll hear from the Juki and whoever else Clone decides to drop on us. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Lee, it goes without saying, this is a huge card. Tons of playoff implications. But what about the meat on the bone in terms of for the gambler? How much good stuff's out there this weekend?
It's actually one of my smaller cards I think that I've had. The markets is really interesting. Like we're kind of at that time of the year where you start getting push pull on like both sides of a lot of games. I think stuff is starting to be lined a lot more efficiently. So I think the edges are getting smaller. But there's still some out there that I think are for sure we're talking about.
All right, and we're going to find those today because here's the format, ladies and gentlemen. Our pickers, should they choose to accept the challenge, are going to pick 3 games from the colleges and 1 from the pros. And then we're going to figure out our power plays. Last week, we had a 2-1 week in our power plays thanks to my Eagles collapsing in the second half against the Denver Broncos. So, I mean, what else is new? My poor brother, who's a big Penn State fan, sat there and had to endure Nico Mania, Topper Mania in game 1, Eagle Mania / Denver Bronco Mania on Sunday, and then Topper Mania because Rob Thompson is the worst manager in the world. But I digress because that's not what we're here. We're here to talk about week 7 in the colleges and VIP play. Will Heflin, in the spirit of Blair, who can't be here for today's show, why don't you go ahead, Will? You're looking good over there, and lead us off.
Thanks. But in the spirit of Blair would imply I'm going for dose. I'm going to go for single.
All right, go for single, baby. That's uno.
First one, I'm going to take a home team, a ranked home team total under, and that's going to be Illinois. Under 16.5. This Ohio State defense is a brick wall. If you get into the red zone, you've made a mistake because they're not going to let you score if you get into the red zone. The only way Illinois is getting over 17 points is a long touchdown. And then, they may score another one and get a field goal and get to that 17. But Ohio State is averaging 5 points a game. Somehow got better on defense after losing Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, Jack Sawyer, Tyleik Williams, who's playing great for Detroit, by the way. They still have Caleb Downs, who's the best player in college football, but the defense has been phenomenal. Offense has kind of started to come alive, which is a little bit worrisome in that if Ohio State starts scoring a lot, you could get the back door. But if Illinois can hang around and keep this, a 1 or 2 score game, then I don't see them reaching 17 or certainly over 20 points.
And, Mark and Colombo will be very excited about your pick. No question about it. What do y'all think about Illinois and the trouble they're going to have against this Ohio State defense, guys? Anybody have a thought on that one?
I think this is a good play. I like this too. I haven't played it. I think it might be the best way to play this actually. Because I do think 14.5 is a spread. I think that's a pretty solid line. That's right on the dot. Yeah, Ohio State's defense is an absolute monster. Like Will said it, like you can't score in the red zone on them. Like you have to hit explosives over the top if you're going to score on them. And I don't. Altmaier's got some good stats. Like Beatty's turned into a really good wide receiver for them, but I don't see it happening against this Ohio State team. The other thing, too, is Illinois is playing its 7th straight game without a bye.
Wow.
I think there's only 4 teams that have to do that this year. I could see the second half just Illinois kind of wilting here and Ohio State just kind of strangling them out. But this is probably I think this is probably a good way to play this is the Illinois team total under.
All right, let's move along. Since you're on the mic, Lee, why don't you go ahead and go next? So Will likes under 16 and a half for Illinois versus Ohio State, 7th week in a row without a break. I don't think that's a defense you want to see when you're running on fumes. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, so I think I had a few losers last week. One of the ones that we won was the Air Force over. We're gonna go right back to this. Air Force is playing at UNLV. We're gonna go over 64 and a half. 64 and a half is a lot, but it shouldn't be an issue with these two defenses. Both of these teams are straight up over teams. You saw if anybody paid attention last week to Air Force. Yeah, I mean Liam Zarka is a great quarterback. This guy's gonna score. But they just can't stop anybody. Like UNLV is going to score at will on them. So it's being played inside in a dome in Las Vegas, like no weather, no wind. Yeah, I think there's going to be a ton of explosives in this game. Like both of these teams are top 25 in explosiveness. So yeah, you just go over 64 and a half. Keep playing these Air Force overs.
Yeah, they're dreadful on defense and very good on offense. You know, it's kind of a pretty good mix, and 64 and a half sounds like a high total for an Air Force, you know, if Air Force passed, but we've seen that UNLV defense, guys. They are absolutely wretched. Anybody else have this game on their card? Go ahead, see.
Oh no, I don't have it on my card. I was just gonna say that
Yeah.
last week I played that over after Lee talked about it, and that was one of the most sweat free wins of the whole card. I thought, yeah, like Lee's talked about, Air Force kind of an arena league team. UNLV is somehow undefeated here. Very fraudulent team. But like Lee said, their defense is really bad. So I like this. I didn't have it, but I like the bet.
All right, Brian Hartman, you started to say something.
Yeah, I kind of like Air Force, not Air Force, but UNLV minus 6.5 against that team. Air Force isn't very good, so I figured they'll be able to score a lot of points. I think they can win by at least a touchdown or more.
All right, Brian, why don't you give us your first play since you're on the MDI, the C?
Well, I'm going to go with the home team, Tennessee minus 12.5 against Arkansas. I think the Vols cover that. I think Arkansas's defense we know what it is. It's not good at all. I like Tennessee to roll up a bunch of points. I think they also create a few takeaways and maybe score that way. Arkansas is going to get theirs, but I think the Vols will just get much more. So I like Tennessee minus 12.5.
Anybody on this game? Anybody have a thought on the game that takes place tomorrow in Neyland Stadium?
My only concern is just the weird, call it bad juju or whatever. Tennessee doesn't play Arkansas very well at all. Besides Georgia, it's our longest losing streak in the conference at 4 in a row. Somehow 4 straight losses against Arkansas. And the whole it's the new, like, you fire the head coach and the next team, the team kind of plays up. That's my only concern. But if you're looking at this objectively, not subjectively, Tennessee should hammer them. So I like the play. That's my only hesitation there. I don't have it on my card, but
you raise a really great point, and the really good side of that is that defensively they have the wherewithal to kind of what's the term here, to kind of mess the Vols around a little bit. They have the wherewithal to sort of put the Vols in a blender on defense a little bit. See, are you comfortable with that line with the Vols at minus 12.5?
No, the only reason I'm not really comfortable with it is because just the uncertainty with Arkansas's staff changes. I think that's a bigger deal maybe than people are leading on.
Yeah.
It's just a huge adjustment. A lot of, I mean, they could come out here and throw the kitchen sink. They're off a bye week. But Trina, I mean, this isn't like you're bringing in Brady Hoke to be your coach. This is a guy who's this 10 years ago is viewed as kind of a generational coach. NFL was an NFL head coach at one time. Has a lot to prove here, trying to weasel his way in there and get that job full time. I think you'll see a lot of stuff that you've never seen or haven't seen. It's going to be very hard to prepare for, and I'm not sure defensively Tennessee is really the team you want to be trusting to keep a team inside the number late. As far as against a good quarterback with a proven coach, I'm not sure that this is the defense you want to be relying on to keep a team from getting inside the back door. So I'm going to stay away. I think Tennessee wins the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arkansas has some fireworks offensively in this game.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I do think Tennessee's better and should win and will win the game. Lee, where are you on this one? Is this a stay away for you, or is this one that you're Lee?
I think Lee may have had some issue. He said he got maybe kicked. He's not in the room anymore.
No, I don't think he
I
got
see him in the room. The other,
Yeah, he's here.
I'll jump in real quick. The other thing I will say, if you like Tennessee, is that Heupel off a bye week historically been really good. So they're going to have a really good script to open the game.
Yes.
If they execute that, they could jump out on them. And then, like C was saying, if they throw the kitchen sink and it kind of turns sideways on them, then Tennessee could get some funky turnovers if Arkansas does something weird. There's a lot of unknowns headed into this one, but this is kind of one of those situations where we're so close to it that we can oftentimes overthink it. Whereas if somebody's on the outside looking in, they're gonna be like, wow, I don't see Arkansas stopping Tennessee, hardly at all. So it is kind of fishy how the numbers move down a little bit.
Well, one thing I saw something today that I was surprised by. Arkansas's defense, as bad as it is, has only given up 5 more points on the season than Tennessee has. That's something to think about.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee's defense grades out pretty poorly.
Some of that's context, though. It's a little different giving up points when you're up versus.
I think a lot of it's who they played too.
No doubt.
Neither team's played a great schedule, but Tennessee obviously has played Georgia. They played Notre Dame, but outside of that, I mean, they played our Ole Miss, who's obviously very good. I don't think either of these defenses are very strong, though, to be honest.
And so, I'm to the point now where I'm looking at this thing. Lee, do you have a play in the Tennessee game, or are you staying away from it?
Okay, I hope you guys can hear me. So I'm staying away from it. My worry is the fact that Arkansas is coming off of a bye, and just all the changes that they have. I think there's a good chance Tennessee doesn't see anything that they've seen on film already, that everything that gets thrown at them is brand new. Like, they got rid of their entire defensive staff. I know that defense is not good. I don't think it's going to be like great or anything, but they could throw a lot of stuff at Tennessee that Aguilar hasn't seen. I could see it taking a little bit maybe for Tennessee to make some adjustments before they get it going. Just depending, I don't know. I just think there's a ton of variance with this whole situation with Petrino taking over, them coming off of a bye week, complete new coaching staff. So I'm going to stay away from it. I couldn't get to the window with Arkansas, that's for sure. But I don't want to go over these extremely high totals that are out there. And I don't really want to lay the double digits either. So,
all right, let's move along here. Will, Lee, and Bry have all given a play. See, that means you must be, my friend, on the mic here on Winners and Losers, presented by our friends at Dos Equis. And see, why don't we do the, what do we call that thing? The snake, and you go for Dos.
Go for Dos.
Like we're in a fantasy draft here. You
All
do
right.
the snake and give me 2 at once.
All right, I'm gonna go 2 Big Ten games here. I'm going to go with this. Kind of goes with the same thing we've talked about. I mean, the college football is becoming more and more like the NFL. We've talked about it. Kind of, you're buying and selling teams, and the ultimate sell team this week is a team that we've bet on before, but maybe arguably the worst defense in Power 5 still. Nico and UCLA. We're going against them. This is an awful, awful team, despite what we saw against Penn State. Michigan State -8.5 is the number here. This is a perfect spot in every way for Michigan State. UCLA is playing 9 a.m. game, West Coast time, coming off the biggest win in 30 years for them. They're an atrocious football team, UCLA is, despite what happened in the Penn State game. They really don't do anything well. Nico doesn't throw the ball well. Michigan State, their issues when they're going up against pressure, they struggle sometimes when they're facing a team that can get to the quarterback. You know who's last in all of Power Five uh, at success rate defensively? UCLA. They're an
Wow.
awful defense. And even Penn State last week, I think we talked about on the Daily Show. Once they kind of settled in, they were getting no resistance from UCLA. I know they somehow didn't score at the short field late to tie the game there last week, or what? Yeah, it would have been to tie the game. But other than that, once they kind of got out of the malaise that seemed to be affecting them for the first 25 minutes, they went right up and down on this team. I don't think UCLA has much of anything in this game. I could see us being, even though Michigan State obviously is not a juggernaut offensively, I could see this being a pretty big blowout. This is a bad spot for UCLA. And I don't think really much of what we saw last week was real. I know we talked about the new coach and the bounce they get, but they're not going to have any of this. This is a, sleepy spot across the country. This is going to be a hammer job, I think.
Yeah, the new car shine is going to wear off. Okay, the new car shine is absolutely going to wear off for UCLA this week, and how they
Yeah.
handle that.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting thought. All right, moving along. Kyle's first play. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to go for Dose. My bad. Anybody have any thoughts on this Michigan State UCLA? Because the belief from C is that UCLA, the new car shine's going to wear off, and it's not going to go well for them.
Yeah,
Anybody?
I had Michigan State as well.
It makes sense.
If maybe you have some rush lane integrity, maybe a quarterback spy, then maybe your season's not over in Happy Valley. But they didn't. They let Nico run wild, and he showed a lot of grit in that game. You got to tip your cap, but it's a terrible spot.
Yeah.
Terrible spot for UCLA. So
what do you think, Lee? UCLA's got to get up and handle that well. What do you think, man?
So yeah, I mean, I just played the spot and I did lay the points in Michigan State when the line came out. It's a small play. I'll be honest, like, I don't think Michigan State's very good.
No.
Like, would it shock me if UCLA won again? It really wouldn't.
No.
But the spot kind of stinks. Like, I imagine they've been like sort of feeling themselves, enjoying the moment, and I could, having to travel to Michigan. I think Michigan State's the only, that's what I played. I don't feel great about it because they kind of stink.
All right. See, give me your second play. We didn't make it one of our power plays, by the way. I really like that play. Just for the thought of it, just the concept of, first of all, they got to travel. Secondly, they've got to handle success. And thirdly, Michigan State will use a spy on him, even though Michigan State's not a very good football team. But go ahead. See, give me your second play.
All right, it's kind of the exact opposite of what we have here. I'm going to this. I've kind of been thinking about this one since for months. I talked to Will about this, I think in September or August, whatever it was, with USC and Michigan here. Obviously, USC got tripped up in the Illinois game before the bye week. They almost stole it, but they didn't. Now it's kind of a must-win for them. They get Jacoby Lane back in this game. They're coming off a bye. They should be a lot healthier here offensively. Jacoby Lane, probably the best draft eligible receiver in the country. Obviously, they still have Mekhi Lemon. Pretty good spot, I think. Michigan going across the country here. Sharon Moore has been talking about how this is the only reason this game sold out is because Michigan is coming to town and all this stuff. I think that you're getting under a field goal here. 2.5, I think, is still what it is. It's been 2.5. So I'm very comfortable with that. USC's coming off the loss, like we said. Michigan didn't play great last week. They kind of stumbled around against Wisconsin last week. But yeah, I think that USC getting healthy here is really the main thing. They should. I think they have 4 starters back that missed the Illinois game on both sides of the ball. I think this is just a better team. I think the Illinois game was kind of a sleepy spot, horrible spot for USC. With Illinois coming off that beating against Indiana. And USC kind of playing. They had played an 11 o'clock Eastern game against Michigan State the week before and had to travel across the country. So that was a really bad spot. So I think that's why we're getting a little bit of a discount here with only 2.5. But I like USC to win this game straight up. Under 2 and under 3, anything is good. But yeah, all the health for USC, the cross country travel for Michigan. I'm not sure. Bryce Underwood hasn't played great on the road. Obviously, the Oklahoma game wasn't great. This defense isn't that good. But with US, it's really more about USC's health, the bye week, and just the spot. And I am a believer in USC. I think they're gonna at least come close to winning one of those two big games that they'll probably need to win one of to get in the playoffs.
Can you imagine if they don't? I mean, the clock's got to be ticking on that head coach, right? Got to be.
Yeah, I mean this
Gotta
offense
be.
is so talented.
Oh my
It's
gosh, they've wasted so many players in the last 5 years there with just no attention to defense at all. I mean, none.
they're
Anybody
better on.
else? Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. If they lose this game, it's kind of will feel I think a little bit like Texas, where you think
yeah,
this could turn into like a 6 or 7 win team
sure.
if they're not careful.
Kind of like where Penn State might be heading. You get the plug pulled on you pretty quickly here because this is and plus at a program like that where you're very NIL intensive, kids could check out on you. What's my next stop, etc. Anybody have a thought on that game? USC at home, 2.5-point favorite with Michigan.
I like the over here.
Okay.
Sitting at like 56 or 55, 56. When USC played Michigan State, that total was 56. I think Michigan's got a better offense than Michigan State. Like, I'm kind of confused. I really thought this would be like 58 and a half, 59. So I've got some over on this. I didn't play the side. I agree with C. USC coming off the bye week. This is really kind of their Super Bowl. This is for all intents and purposes a playoff elimination game. They're coming off that bye against Illinois. They suffered a lot of injuries in that game. Left tackle, center, a couple guys on their defense. Like they're going to be a lot healthier in this game. I think a lot of people are kind of writing them off as same old USC. And maybe they are at the end of the year. But I think as far as Saturday goes, Saturday night under the lights, I think USC you're getting a pretty good number on them.
Yeah.
I didn't play the side just simply because I'm invested like with futures very, very heavily, and they all go down the drain if they lose this. So I'm indirectly on USC for a lot of money in this game.
Kyle's not here to defend himself, so let's go ahead and rip his picks. And we'll go for dose on Kyle. Let's really rip the hell out of him. Oregon, Indiana, over 54.5. He said neither team's going to be able to stop the other. I don't know about that. I do think these teams are going to score, and 54.5 does sound low. I mean, his reasoning doesn't sound bad. What do you all think? All right, Kyle. Go ahead.
I think Oregon's defense was pretty damn stout against Penn State. Like I was pretty impressed with their defensive line. Like they were in Penn State's backfield all night in that game. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of talent. I mean, you've got these are two maybe the Heisman top trophy candidates at quarterback in this game. So a lot of offensive talent. I could see this getting over, but man, I was really impressed with Oregon's defense. I think Indiana's defense is pretty sneaky good too. So
I'm starting to think this Signetti guy knows how to, or somebody on his staff knows how to evaluate football players.
I kind of think it goes under, just given the defenses are so good.
Yeah, Brian, I see what Kyle's getting at, but I kind of don't see what Kyle's getting at. That game could turn into a street fight in a real way tomorrow.
I think it could be like 23-20, something like that.
Now, his next one's been something I've been on all week on the air, almost obnoxiously so, including today at Calhoun's on the river. And that's Auburn plus 3.5 versus Georgia. Kyle's terming this as Hugh's last stand. I just think it's going to be part and parcel of a wide open SEC, and it's going to be a result of a Georgia team that's just not the timber of what they've been. And I think that not only will Auburn cover the 3.5, I think they're going to win the game outright. What do y'all think? Anybody else have this game?
I like it. I like it as well, Tony. We talked about this. as it gets a little closer, I'm getting just a little bit afraid of maybe it's got to be just the. I think the thing that I'm getting in my head on is just that Georgia. I keep thinking this is the Georgia that has all these elite defensive linemen, and
They
they're going
don't.
to swallow Jackson Arnold, but they're not good on up
No,
front on defense. They're not good in the
no,
back end on defense.
no.
Jackson Arnold is an issue still, even though Georgia isn't great on offense or great on defense. I mean, you're still needing Jackson Arnold to score enough to beat Georgia, which is a little bit concerning. But I mean, I think Auburn's uber talented. They've spent a lot of money in the portal. They have obviously everybody knows the receivers they have. Defensively, they're super good. I mean, they're super strong defensively. Um, so yeah, I like that as well. 3.5. I like getting over a field goal. It's kind of like the NFL. We talk about this. These SEC teams. I think we talked about it on the air yesterday, Tony. These SEC teams all just sit one on top of each other. This is an NFL like bet where you have a team that is perceived to be, worse than the other at home, getting over a field goal. It seems like layup to some people. I think it's in talking to people on the air. Georgia. It's just Georgia Auburn. It's Kirby Smart. It's all this, but there's not a lot that really separates Georgia and Auburn, despite the fact that one team is a 2-loss team and the other's in the top 10.
Hey, Lee, you betting sickos. Have we ever seen a year like this in the SEC where these teams lay so close to each other?
Not that I can remember. It feels like there's always been a pretty clear distinction between most of these teams, and I don't think there is. Like, I'm not saying the SEC is like the Big 12 last year. It's a much better league, but last year, like all those teams are like,
Yeah.
you just take all the underdogs. Like if they're catching more than 3, and at the end of the year, you're doing fine. Like I kind of feel like that's the same situation in the SEC with these teams stacked on top of each other, like you said. Like, so I'm being honest here. Go position by position. Where is Georgia significantly better than Auburn? I'll give you quarterback with Jackson Arnold. He's not very good, but I really don't think Stockton is all that great. I think he's a liability in a lot of instances out there. But I mean, position by position, I'm not sure where Georgia is really better than Auburn. So yeah, I took Auburn too. If Freeze doesn't get this done, there's a good chance he doesn't have a job on Sunday night. I think that's a very real possibility. But yeah, I took Auburn plus a 3.5.
All right, let's move along. It is time for VIP Play Will to share with us here on Winners and Losers, presented by our friends at Dos Equis. VIP Play Will, I want play number 2 out of you, brother.
All right. So I was just going to cop out and say, well, I had Michigan State too, like C. But I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to say, I like USC too, even though
I do. Yeah, we're agreeing too much right now.
Well, here's my issue with USC is dang Lincoln Riley. Feels like a Lincoln Riley special, and that's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
A game that they need to win and should be in position to win that you don't feel like they're going to. So anyways, I'll go to the Red River Shootout. I mean, Red River Rivalry, which is what it's called now. OU's catching 1.5. Sounds like Mateer is going to try to give it a go. I don't know how. But even if it ends up being the other guy, I'm blanking on his name. Who's the backup quarterback?
Hawkins, the kid.
Hawkins. Good athlete.
Yep.
Good athlete. Got some playing time last year.
Yep.
So here's what we're going to do in this game. We know it's going to be close. 2 really good defenses. You're going to tease OU up to 7.5, and you're going to tease that under up to 49.5 and take OU plus 7.5 under 49.5 at minus 124.
All right. Oklahoma teased to 7.5, and then the under to
49.5.
Under 49.5.
Minus 124. 4 cents more than I'd like to pay, but that's just the nature of 2025.
Does anybody have a thought on this game they want to share? Because it is a real wild card football game with the health of that quarterback.
I'm going to wait and see what the quarterback situation is. If Mateer plays and I can get a better number with Texas, I'm going to play Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't get to this. I just can't get to this number. Like even right now without him minus 1.5. I don't know. I know everybody's down on Texas. Like they've looked terrible, but I still think Texas is the overall better team. I know that sounds crazy, but I can't get down to this number. So But I would like to be getting more. I would like to be catching like a point and a half if Mateer's in. So I'm going to wait and see what the quarterback situation is.
You gonna live bet it, Lee? You guys live bet it?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, there's the thing about Mateer. His legs is what his weapon is anyway. That's what makes him so good. Like,
Yeah.
I know he's got to be able to throw the ball as a quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I get that. But, they'll shoot him up with Toradol where he won't be able to fill that thing for a few hours anyway. So it'll probably be fine if he does. I don't think it'll be awful. But, it's kind of a wild card. I just, number-wise, I can't get down to this number with Oklahoma. So.
The crazy thing about this game is that the Texas offense is so broken. And Oklahoma's defense is really good, guys. They're really good.
Well, I
Go
mean,
ahead,
if you're
Say.
looking at the spot,
Yeah.
I agree. I think Texas, if I had to choose, would say Texas will squeak it out.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good bounce back spot for them. But these games, it doesn't matter who either team is. They're always so close because it's such a good rivalry. I mean, it's sneaky one of the best ones in the country that, it gets talked about, but I don't think it does quite as much as it should. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'll take Oklahoma because I can catch over a touchdown on the teaser. And I think it's a one-score game either way.
See, where are you going here?
Yeah, we kind of talked about this with Oregon, Penn State, and it kind of bit us 2 weeks ago. But I know this line was out there. I guess what is it now? 9 or 10 days ago, this was out there as Texas minus 7.5. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. I know Texas' offensive line had an all-time stinker in Gainesville. You'd hope that they could. I mean, I don't think they're that bad. Obviously, especially at center, they were atrocious last week. If that doesn't get fixed, I understand the line, but like Lee said, I do think Texas is still the better team overall. Especially if Mateer doesn't play, I don't see a lot of areas where Oklahoma is better than Texas. Kind of like we talked about with Auburn and Georgia, which is kind of crazy to say. I mean, Texas is still favored, an unranked team against the top 5 team or whatever it is. So the market agrees, but I think that if Mateer especially doesn't play, I struggle to find really any advantages for Oklahoma in this game. But if he does play, I agree with Will. I think it'll be probably nip and tuck defensive affair.
The number is indicative of the bookmakers believing that Mateer is going to be out there, right? I mean that's
If he doesn't play, I think it's gonna. If we get a late Pete
it'll
Thamel
jump,
report
right?
on game day, we'll get to over 4.5. I would think 4.5.
And to Lee's point, a lot of people will have purchased something that they that they'll get in their shopping cart and realize when they get to the cash register, it's not what they thought they were buying. All right, Lee, your second play is You Go For Dose, presented by our friends at Dos Equis here on Winners and Losers. And the Lager Especial Golden Pilsner style beer made from the choice of hops, balanced composition, smooth, clean finish, party guest always invited, never, and I mean never, ever, ever overstays his welcome, like my Philadelphia Phillies in Los Angeles. A Golden Pilsner style beer with a nuanced blend of malts and earth tones, flavorful yet light tasting and smooth. Make it a part of your college football weekend. Do it now. Go ahead, Lee. Play number 2.
Let's go to Alabama and Missouri. Man, I'm giving out a lot of overs, but it is what it is. I'm only over 51.5. I know the Bama over last week didn't get home with Vandy. I would still make that play again if it happened. Like, Vandy got a couple turnovers in the red zone.
Yep.
Vandy was moving the ball in Alabama's defense in that game. I'm still not sold on this Bama defense, especially their run defense. And I think Ahmad Hardy is the second best running back in the country behind Jeremiah Love. Kid is an absolute stud. He's gone for over 100 in every game he's played. I lean towards Missouri in this game too, catching the 3 just with the spot with Bama. They're coming off 2 kind of high-profile games. They got Tennessee on deck and having to go to Missouri. Missouri's coming off of a bye. My issue with Missouri is their secondary. Like Kansas was able to throw on them. Like their secondary's given up some plays, and I do think Bama's going to be able to put some points up through the air here with Ty Simpson. I like points here. I think Bama's going to be able to score. I like this Missouri offense. I think it's really good. It's been a top 20 offense with Pribula and Hardy. Sneaky good receivers. Yeah, I think there's points here. Over 51.5. I think this is a couple points too low. So give me over 51.5.
Another observation: whoever's doing the scouting at Missouri does a really nice job. They continue to find quality offensive college football players. And
They
I know
identified
yeah,
Tribula and Hardy like very early in the
yes,
portal process.
exactly
Like
right.
sign them immediately, and I
Right.
think there was both excellent additions. Hardy is an absolute beast, man. He is so good, so much fun to watch.
And the kid they got out of the California junior college ranks for Division II a couple years ago, who lit the league up. I mean, there's just no denying that somebody internally is very good at spotting guys. All right, Bama, Missouri, over 51.5. What do y'all think? Anybody? Brian Hartman, what do you say about that? Talk to me here.
I believe that's going to be a very interesting spot. I keep thinking about that game and just thinking about what might be best for Tennessee. We can talk about that later, but Missouri offensively, they've got an offensive coach.
Yep.
They've had teams that can score a lot of points. I think they had one outlier year, maybe with Pinkel there, where they couldn't score at all. But for most of the time they've been in the SEC, they've been a team that could put 30 plus on anybody. That's what they've been. So yeah, I kind of like Missouri. Whatever their team total is, I kind of think I would go over that.
Score the ball, Conzo Martin. Anybody else have a thought on Missouri and Bama? A noon, like a weird start there. It's like an 11 local time start.
Alabama can't afford to drop this one.
No.
They got
No.
They got a lot of meat left on that schedule, and this is one that would anybody be surprised if Missouri wins?
I'm
No.
terming games like this in the SEC for teams like Missouri. It's like when Tennessee played Georgia. I think we have these games of opportunity on the schedule. When you get in the ring with these heavyweights, Missouri's kind of in Tennessee's category where you win the right game and you're seen as a heavyweight. Missouri wins this game tomorrow, they're viewed in a different light, and they should be, Will. So it's a real opportunity for them, and they're building.
Yep.
Who knows? Anybody else? Any thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I like Missouri. I think I like Missouri to win this game.
Huh?
The line, I guess, is under 3 now. Is that right, Will? 2.5. Are there any threes out there still?
Yeah, there's threes out there. They're still out.
Okay, if you can get a 3, I kind of like Missouri. I like the over, but yeah, I think Missouri will win this game straight up.
All right, Brian Hartman, it is your time to shine, my friend. Go for dose. Go for dose, baby. Go for dose. What'd you say, Will? Did you say 3.5?
3.5.
All right.
A little bit of juice, but if you want the 3 minus 103, or you can go minus 121, 3.5.
Juicy juice. Go ahead, Brian.
Since I'm going for 2, I want to go for 2 in the Big 12.
You're going for dose.
I like Kansas. I like not Kansas, but I like Texas Tech against Kansas minus 13.5. Texas Tech looks like a pretty strong machine, but their schedule you can question somewhat. But they have won every game by at least 37. They're averaging 37 points a win, 37 points a game, and they've scored at least 34 points in every game. They haven't given up more than 14 points in any game. So I think I like them at home minus 13.5. Jalen Daniels is a pause for maybe concern if you're on Texas Tech, because he can make a lot of plays running. He can make them throwing. He can keep that game close, but I just think Texas Tech's going to have too much. I think playing in Lubbock at night is going to be too much for Kansas. I believe Texas Tech will pull away late and cover the 13.5. That's my first one.
Daniels is highly erratic, guys. Anything's possible to happen when he's out on the field. What do you all think? Texas Tech's been hammering people. They've got the payroll. They've got the schedule in front of them. Might have a playoff game in sight, but there might be a spot here. Who knows? College football might happen tomorrow in this game. Does anybody have this game on their radar, or are y'all staying away from it? Which one? Somebody talk to me. We staying away from it? On your radar? Off your radar? In your radar?
I think it's Texas Tech or pass. Yeah, I don't think you want to go against this team right now. I'm still on the fence as to whether or not they're like top 4 legit. I kind of think they are. Like, I kind of think they are. Like, this isn't like your old Texas Tech that just scores a bunch of points. Like, this team plays for real defense. They can run the ball. Yeah, I think they're way too much for Kansas. I would lay it here with Texas Tech.
All right, C. Go for Trace. Give me your third play.
All right. Yeah, let's go back to that. We're running a little. Let's go to Alabama, Missouri.
All right.
I'm gonna play Missouri here. We talked about it a little bit already. I think it's a good spot. I know 11 a.m. isn't ideal. Uh, in there in Columbia, I prefer this to be 2:30 or 6:30 game or whatever the late game on ABC is. But 11 a.m. should be fine. Alabama's been totally different on the road than they have been at home under DeBoer. They had obviously I know it wasn't a huge, but they had the game day there last week. They had all this stuff. They have Tennessee next week. It's a really good spot. Mizzou here coming off a bye, they're healthy. Lee talked a little bit about Alabama's defense and some of the concerns they have. This is not really, and that's the thing we're going to have to get. This is not any kind of indictment on Alabama. I think Alabama is one of the 5, 6 best teams in the country, but I mean this is just a really hard portion of the schedule they're in. And this is for Missouri. This is their entire season. Really, if they can win this game, they're set up to make the playoff. I've been really impressed. Just like I mean, Lee said a lot of what the handicap is for the Mizzou side with what he said out the over. But I like getting over a field goal. That's what I was concerned about. I know it kind of bounced in under 3 at times, but 3, 3.5. I like Mizzou. I actually think Mizzou is going to win this game straight up. So could be a crazy weekend in the SEC if we get Mizzou, Auburn, Texas all win. I know Texas is a small favorite, but if Oklahoma, Bama, and Georgia all lose here, it could be kind of a crazy weekend.
And we're reaching that portion of the schedule where literally anything can and will happen. Kyle's third play from the colleges, which I believe the other of you have. All right, let me give you Kyle's third play, and then we'll get everybody else's third if you guys have a third. He's got Charlotte at Army. Charlotte team total over 13.5. He said that I watched them last week against South Florida. They're going to get 2 touchdowns on Army's defense alone. So he's seeing a different Charlotte team than I am. I don't know, maybe because I know he's away. He's like at one of these resort places, fall break, yada, yada, yada. It sounds to me like Kyle's been, I don't know, shall we say, partaking of things that come from plants.
Maybe he's hoping that that Alex Golish point shaving operation will have infiltrated the Army.
I mean,
that's the only way Charlotte was scoring last week. I mean,
hey, the people that went on Twitter X and just started blasting Golish for the point shaving, and then Hockley's crew in the NFL last week, there were a couple of, shall we say, guys, WWE-looking football games that took place last week on our national card in the colleges and the pros. But anyway, all right, let's go back. We'll stay in the college ranks. Will, do you have a third play, or do you defer and go to your bye week?
I've got a third. I'll keep it short, I promise. Utah -6 at home against Arizona State. Same spot as the Tennessee game, if you think about it. Both off a bye week. Last year, Utah went to Arizona State and lost in a thriller. Utah is always tough at home because of the altitude. Whittingham off a bye week's pretty good. Give me the Utes. I think this Arizona State team's a little fraudulent. Their win against TCU was cool. It was nice, but they were down 17-0 and came back. You spot Utah 17 points, and that ball is going to get deflated. You won't see it much.
Anybody have this one on their card? Because I like the concept here. Willie's bringing it to the table right now on Winners and Losers, presented by our friends at Dos Equis /VIP play. In fact, Willie, while you're on the mic here, why don't you share my triple play or my 3-legger this weekend?
Tony B's bet of the week. Yeah. You've got Auburn plus the 4 when that special was created.
Mm-hmm.
Your second leg was Tennessee, Arkansas, first quarter over 14.5.
That's
and then
both
you've
teams.
got,
yeah,
both teams. And then you've got Tennessee's team total over, which is 41.5. So you're saying this Arkansas team, they may have some tricks up their sleeve early, but Tennessee kind of scores at will down the stretch.
Hey, Lee, you've been my total guy today. What am I missing? How in the world will Arkansas and Tennessee not go over 14.5 in the first quarter tomorrow? How will that not happen?
Oh, somebody drives down the field and turns the ball over inside the 5-yard line, and then the other team goes down the field. Like that.
Oh,
Those first quarter lines are like, there's just a lot of variance in them because you're talking about a limited number of possessions. And
yes,
like I said, if so, like say Arkansas gets it, they go down the field, burn up 5 minutes off the clock, they turn it over. Then Tennessee gets it, it takes them 4 or 5 minutes to get down the field, which may not be the case, but then all of a sudden you're looking at 9-10 minutes off the clock and it's 0-0. Like, and from that point forward, it could be a score fest. But it's so many limited possessions. But I mean, you can't really set it below that, like, so it makes sense. I get it, but there's just, you can get burned. That's what can really burn you, is just those turnovers or a turnover on downs or something after somebody holds the ball.
Well, your point about Pavia last week's well taken. I mean, that's an over, that's a hit, that's a good bet. That's the whole. If they finish a couple drives, and Alabama has to go on the road to Missouri with this week, saddle with a loss in a must-win game. That's the league we're in right now. Lee, your third play from the SEC.
Well, it's not in the SEC, but I'll do this real quick.
I'm sorry, college ball.
Virginia Tech is on the road at Georgia Tech. They're catching 14.5. I will never lay 14.5 with Brent Key. These are the spots you want to fade him in. As when they are favored versus an unranked conference team, Brent Key's like 0-5 against the spread. He's just, they're very good against teams like, they're not better than, like, they step up with good game plans. They play hard, and the game against Georgia, they should have lost to Wake Forest a couple weeks ago. Like, they call it, if the offsides gets called, like, it's knees for Wake, and Georgia Tech has a loss against them. Like, they probably win the game, but 14.5 I think is too many. Vatek's obviously no great shakes, but they have been somewhat better since they got rid of their coach. Like, they're playing a little bit better. So yeah, I'm going to take 14.5 here with Vatek, and I feel pretty comfortable about it.
Kind of almost a service academy-ish kind of play, isn't it? That many points?
Yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech, like, that's that offense. I'm not really looking to ever really lay more than 7 with them at the most. I think this is too many. Like I said, this is not how you really want to play Georgia Tech. You want to back them when they're a dog. Yeah, playing points with them. Yeah, just like a service academy.
And they've lived in close games this year, regardless of the opponent. They've lived in close games. It's been a strange year. All right, let's move along here. So we got them all, guys. Brian Hartman, it is time for you to give me your third play from the colleges.
Well, I like an underdog on the road in a noon spot in the Big 12, a sleepy noon spot. UCF is plus 10.5 at Cincinnati. The Bearcats are coming off a big win last week over Iowa State, an emotional win where they led from almost start to finish. They led by 2 to 3 scores from start to finish. I don't know. I don't think Cincinnati's a team that can get up 2 weeks in a row and play that well to cover a 10.5 point spread a week later. I don't think I trust them to do that. I think it's a sleepy spot coming off an emotional game like that. A 12 o'clock kick early against the UCF, who's 0-2 in the Big 12, but they're not. Having watched them, I don't think they're not a bad-looking 0-2 team. They're actually capable of going in there and maybe even winning the game outright. But I do like UCF and Scott Frost catching 10.5 in that sleepy spot and an emotional letdown spot. It's more of a spot play for me.
I like it. Anybody have a thought on Brian's thoughts with Central Florida catching 10.5 with Cincinnati?
It's good logic. It's good logic.
Right.
I love that Cincinnati team, but I wouldn't play them here.
Let's go to the NFL. Will, hit it.
No more snake style? Okay. I'll lead us off in the NFL. I hate this pick, but I have to. This is the play. It's prime time. It's Kansas City, short home favorite against Detroit. You got to take them here. Chiefs, money line or -1, whatever you want to do.
All right. Anybody? Chiefs last stand.
Yeah.
Is it over for the Chiefs? See, what do you think?
No, this is a good. This is going to be my play. I'll give another one, but yeah, I'm on board with that. That's slam dunk Sunday night game. Chiefs, I
Hey,
thought played pretty well against the Jags. Kind of had a crazy. I was on the Jags, so I was happy with what happened, but kind of a crazy end of the game. Where the Chiefs couldn't get off the field. The Lions have some injury issues. Their practice report hasn't been great this week. This is a must win here for the Chiefs at home. They're 0-3 in one possession games this year after they had won 17 in a row. So that's a little bit of the variance evening out. But yeah, they have to win this game. And it's primetime home game. Yeah, I think the Chiefs. I'd feel comfortable backing the Chiefs here. I think that's a really good play.
and good luck getting any calls if you're the Lions.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, moving along, Lee from the NFL.
And the Zebras.
What calls your mind? What calls your name, Lee, in the NFL?
Yeah, the Chiefs is probably the best play on the board. I agree with that too. But I'll give out San Francisco here catching 3 against the Bucks. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep. We faded the Eagles last week. We're going to fade the other Ponzi scheme, the Bucks. Yeah, like the Bucks favored by 3. Yeah, they keep winning all these games. They haven't covered this number all year, despite all the wins they have. They haven't won a game by more than 3. Like I think there's a perception because of how they're winning these games, like at the last minute, that they're just like this super great team, and they're not. Like you can only keep scoring touchdowns on 3rd and 13 like for so long before it bites you. Like that's not sustainable. Yeah, I like the 49ers here, like catching 3. It's obviously the key number. I think the 49ers are the right side. The Bucks are eventually going to get caught. And I think it's this week against San Francisco.
Brian Hartman, you're the man from the NFL. Hit it.
I'm going to go with the Jags and the Seahawks. The total's 47.5. Seattle's coming west to play coming from west to east to play at 10 o'clock a.m. their time. The Jags are coming off an emotional on a short week, 6.5, 6-day layoff. The defense for Jags is pretty good. They're pretty good with takeaways and turnovers and creating them. They just made the trade with the Browns. They sent Tyson Campbell for a Newsome for the Browns. So I like the under 47.5 in the Jaguars versus Seahawks game.
It actually makes pretty good sense to me, Brian. Moving along, C, NFL. Who you got?
Yeah, let's go to the other primetime game, the other standalone Monday night game. I'm going to be on the Falcons here. I don't love it as much. I was hoping the Bills would win last Sunday night against the Patriots. That's spot wise not ideal, but I still think this 4.5 here, too many points for the Falcons. The Bills defensively are shaky. They can't run a little more surprising that they really can't run the ball. Um, as well as you would expect with Cook and Allen. They haven't really unleashed Allen outside of that Ravens game. Um, I think that the Falcons will be able to take advantage of the Bills here on the ground. And the Falcons, outside of that total stinker we saw against the Panthers, have been very, very solid. I think there's a lot of stuff that shows they're better than the Bucks in that division. But and I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up catching them. They do need to win this game here on Monday night probably, but I agree with Lee. I'm not a huge fan of the Bucks either, but their defense is gonna really bite them. I like Lee's play, I like Will's play, but yeah, I'm on the Falcons here on Monday night plus 4.5.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is time for us. This is nut cutting time. This is separating the men's from the boys from the its, as it were. And it is selecting 3 games out of the following plays that we've had as ladies and germs, just to once again review for you here on Dos Equis, presented by our winners and losers, presented by our friends at Dos Equis. And shout out to VIP Play. You'll find go into the specials tab. You'll find my play there, suggested play. But let's have some fun here. Will Illinois under 16.5 team total versus Ohio State?
The Avengers.
Oklahoma teased to 7.5 under 49.5 in the Red River shout out. Red River, what are we calling that?
It could be a
Shootout.
shout out if you want it to be.
Yeah, okay. Utah -6 with Arizona State. And in the NFL, Kansas City -1 with Detroit, which sounds like that could be a power play the way y'all were popping for that. Everybody was popping for it. Lee likes Air Force UNLV over 64.5. Bama, Missouri over 51.5 in the football game. Virginia Tech plus 14.5 with Georgia Tech. And San Francisco +3 against those frauds from Tampa. Those frauds from Tampa. Brian Hartman will take Tennessee -12.5 in their building with the Hogs, making bacon. Texas Tech -13.5. And UCF +10.5 with the EWAD Cincinnati boys. And he will also take the Jag Seahawks under 47.5. C likes Michigan State -8.5 with UCLA. Nico's revenge. C also likes USC -2.5 versus Michigan. And Lee likes the over 56, by the way, in that one. Meanwhile, Missouri +3.5. And the Falcons +4.5 with the Bills. Kyle likes the Oregon, Iowa over 54.5. Auburn +3.5 with Georgia. Hughes last stand. And Charlotte at Army. He likes, let's see, Charlotte's team total over 13.5. And there you go. All right, guys, what are our power plays?
All right, let's make this simple. First power play, Chiefs. Second power play, Michigan State. Third power play, your choice between Auburn or Missouri. Those
All right.
were the 3 consensus. Or
Ladies,
4.
all right, ladies' choices. Do we want to put 4 power plays up there and go for those, or you want to stick with 3?
I say we leave out Missouri. I feel a little better about Auburn than Missouri.
All
And
right.
that was one of my plays.
All right.
What do you guys think? Brian?
Yeah, I like 3 because I don't like 2 and 2. That's a weird possibility.
Go ahead, boys. Well, it's not a bad week. You're just pushing a little money back and forth.
Yeah, I don't
entertaining
have a
yourself.
feeling about the Auburn Georgia game, but we can use that as a power play since y'all seem to like Auburn so much.
Anybody? Speak now, forever hold your peace, Lee.
Yeah, no, I'm good with all those. Yeah, I would rather roll with Auburn, just because I like Missouri too. I think they win the game. I'm with C on that. I will say though, just betting wise, I do think the number is maybe a little bit short. Like I have this Bama like -4.5. I hate the spot for Bama. So this is just an example of how the markets have become more efficient and they've caught on to these spots. So the number's not terrific with Missouri, but I think the spot's great for them. So I would rather leave that one out and play Auburn. So yeah, I think Will's was on the right. Will is on the right track with those 3.
Any other tips for folks on the way out? Any like C, are you on any Indonesian golf this week or anything of the sort? Lee, any like wrestling in the cages you want to talk about? Where are we here?
There is UFC Rio on Saturday. They are obviously fighting in Brazil. The main event is Matheus Gamrot versus Charles do Bronx Oliveira. It's lined about a pick'em. I think do Bronx is the side here. I think you've got to look that way. Gamrot he doesn't have any finishing equity in this fight. All the finishing equity is on do Bronx's side here, and Gamrot just fights in the margins. It's going to be really, I think, tough for him to win a decision in Oliveira's backyard there in Brazil. It is a quick turnaround for Oliveira, getting knocked out like 3 months ago by Topuria, but I think you got to look at Oliveira here in the main event at basically a pick 'em.
All right. Anything else, C? Or you on?
Yeah.
Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah.
Give me
I'm back
something.
on the saddle this week. I set out last week. We're in Japan on the PGA Tour this week. The Bay Current Classic. I'm on Adam Scott, Michael Thorbjornsen. They've already played around, I guess, two by the time this airs, but they're so far ahead that this is going on. This is starting at like 9 o'clock Eastern time on like the night ahead of. So the final round will be going on right after Saturday night. You know, you can listen to Garza Law Firm and then maybe get a sweat on late into the night before the NFL on Sunday morning. We'll be crowning a champion around 2:30, 3:30 in the morning on Sunday morning.
Will you be up watching it? Tell the truth.
If Adam Scott or Thor Bjornsson are involved, oh yeah, I'll be locked in, just as locked in as I was at 3:30 on Saturday, 4:30 on Saturday in Neyland.
And to see, I say, if you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789. My friends at VIP Play want to remind you that everybody gets treated like a VIP. $20, you get $100 with your first bet when you bet 20 on this fun weekend. Have some fun while you're watching your college football. The promo code and the phrase that pays is TN Tony. And everybody gets treated like a VIP over at VIP Play. I want to thank my friends at Dos Equis. Lager Especial. You will go for Dos. Make it a part of your weekend. Try the Umbar special as well. There is a Dos Equis for you, no matter your taste. Will Heflin, thank you. Lee, thank you. C, thank you. Bry, thank you. Kyle, thank you. And Juki. What are we going to do with the Juki? Thank you, Juki. Juki, you would have played this week, but it's a long story, my brother, what I did over here. We got the car back on the track. The audience has no idea what I'm talking about. Why am I even doing that? I don't know. I think I'm bored at this point with myself. It's been a long week. I want to say, GBO, enjoy the weekend. Let's celebrate here locally the 1990 Tennessee football team and the 1985 Sugar Vols. Always in our hearts. We appreciate you. Have yourself a great weekend. Panel, thank you. It was a lot of fun, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Tone.
you.
Hit the winners, stay away from the losers, and enjoy your football weekend. Peace.